Dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be interviewing a great actor and stuntman from New York. His name is Gary Tacon. You all know him as the guy who steals Miss Piggy's purse in the Muppets Take Manhattan. And he was also in, Blood Out. And he also did stunts for a lot of great movies. Rappin, Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins, Morgan Stewart's Coming Home, Secret of My Success, My Demon Lover, so many great movies. Miller's Crossing, and I'm having him on the show today to talk about all that stuff. I've been aware of him for many, many years, and I can't wait to talk to him. So, here is my interview with Gary Tacon. Hey, Gary.
Hey, Tommy.
Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I am great. This is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
I'd like to thank you for the invitation. It's a crazy time, so
Yeah.
I'm here in New York. It's a relief to have to be able to be distracted by your enthusiasm to hear some of what I contribute to this film business.
Yeah. And yes, I mean, so many people I've talked to just, they've been pretty excited about it, that they get to be distracted for a little bit and take a break from reality.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, going back in time, did you gravitate toward acting early on in your childhood?
Yes. I can only remember watching Tyrone's Power. It's a movie called Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
Yep.
Riding a horse through the desert and riding along the edges of cliffs and just feeling like that would be something that I would really love to do. I was very athletic and figured that one way to do that was try and be a stunt performer. So that got into my mind quite early on, and all through high school, I leaned toward drama class, so as well as participating in all the interscholastic sport teams. But in the end, it was really theater, and then reading Shakespeare was something that really got a hold of me quite young. Mm-hmm. Because of my English teacher. He was very enthusiastic about teaching Shakespeare, and I just took to it. So between that and my athletic enthusiasm, I aimed early on to myself to be a candidate for the stunt business. Sure enough, my prayers were answered. I got a job in the Muppets.
Yeah.
Take Manhattan. But
yeah.
I had to be cast by the stunt coordinator. I mean, Jim Henson and Frank Oz approved of my little reading, but they waited for Vic Magnotta, who was the stunt coordinator, to confirm my candidacy. So I was lucky to get along with Vic, and then Vic invited me to join his stunt group in New York called Stunt Specialist, which was a true honor. And at that point, that's really when my career began.
Mm-hmm. What was your sport growing up?
Well, I played all of them. My favorite sport was basketball, but I was also very, very short. So I had a lot of trouble competing in it. But I did grow later, and to this day, I still play on a Sunday morning basketball team.
Oh, that's good.
I'm the oldest guy who plays, but they haven't thrown me off the court yet. So
that's good. Yeah, I did football, wrestling, and track in high school.
Yeah. I played all of them. Not wrestling or track, but I played football, basketball.
Nice, nice.
in high school.
And you're born and raised in New York?
Yes, I was born and raised in Manhattan. Well, not completely raised in Manhattan. We left when I was 5 and moved just about 20 miles outside the city into the suburbs. And that was a joy because all of a sudden there were trees that could be climbed.
Yeah.
And I sort of loved that as an activity and prided myself in my ability to get up a tree as high as possible. And there were a lot of advantages to that,
Mm-hmm.
apart from just a visual perspective of where you live. It was also fun to climb trees.
Mm-hmm.
Major activity in mine.
Yeah, I think a lot of stunt performers, they began climbing trees at an early age.
Yeah.
Certainly some of the ones I've talked to have.
Yeah.
So where did your acting training begin?
Well, mostly in high school. I was in all of the school plays. And in my senior year, I received one of those, they give these little notable awards to people most likely to exceed in theater.
Mm-hmm.
So that was part of my enthusiasm. And then I went to college and immediately joined the drama department. But then I chased a gal into ballet school. And once I got to ballet school, I thought, wow, this is really up my alley. Concentrated, focused, quiet, athletic work to classical music. And so I did that for about 3 years, dropped out of college, came to New York, got into a scholarship school as a ballet dancing student.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for about 4 years. Then I had an accident playing basketball of all things, and broke my ankle, and so I was out for about 2.5 months. And during that time out, I was at a dance school in New York that was run by the parents of the actor Richard Thomas.
Oh yeah.
Thomas famously played John Boy in The Waltons, and then went on to have a wonderful career playing all kinds of different roles. But he knew me at the time, and we were about the same age. And as soon as I broke my ankle, he said, "Well, why don't you go see this agent friend of mine and put a picture on a little dance resume, and maybe you can get some commercial work while you're recovering." So I did that, and in the moment my ankle recovered, I actually got a job in a Broadway show,
mm-hmm.
Written by Remo Williams, called Night of the Iguana.
Oh yeah.
And I had to play one of 2 Mexican beach boys who looked like, very, very fit young men on the Pacific coast of Mexico in a hotel, and unbelievably I got the job. So that was a quick end to my dance career and a quick beginning to my professional performing career as an actor.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever take any classes that were taught by famous people in New York?
Yeah, I worked closely with a woman named Mira Rostova, was her name, who was renowned as an on-the-set coach for actors like Montgomery Clift,
mm-hmm.
who was, she was a peer of Marlon Brando's. They all came up through the same period in the 50s. And
Red River.
And Red River, many other shows that he was in, but she was an elderly Russian lady by the time I got to her, and it was the most wonderful training I ever could have imagined. She was very simple. She taught mostly film actors, and something about her and I, we had a wonderful chemistry, and it was easy to adapt what she was speaking about all the time. So that was my training, and it's where I met Alec Baldwin, for example, in her studio. And when he shot The Moon with Hunt for Red October, we had already become friends, and he asked me to, join him and be his stunt performer. actually had another job at that particular moment, but on his next film with Nicole Kidman, I joined him, and then I worked almost exclusively for him for the following 10 years. Nine pictures together.
Wow, that's cool. You still talk to him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're still buddies. He handed me off to his brother, Stephen Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with Stephen for about 8 years, and to this day still correspond with both of them. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's start with the acting rules in movies. Your first movie on IMDb was Alphabet City. Was that it? Or was that Muppets Take Manhattan?
No, my very first one was the Muppets Take Manhattan.
Okay. So
I started with the best, you know.
Yeah.
and then you begin navigating through all these other jobs. Alphabet City was sort of a more or less a B movie, but at that point, I was really more in the stunt community than anything else. The jobs that I got as a stunt performer often had to do with the fact that I could also read text.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always remember. Oh, go ahead.
Alphabet City was one of those where I had to play a small role,
Mm-hmm.
and then get involved in gang fighting like that.
Yeah. But Muppets Take Manhattan, yeah, it's always one of those roles that I always remember you from. How long did it take to film that scene?
It was about 7 days. I had a 7-day storyboard, and
Wow.
the coordinator got a feather in his cap because we did it in 2 days less than it was storyboarded for. So that was good for everybody. To bring a whole crew into Central Park for a day. Back in the day, it was an awful lot of money. So, however much 2 days on a location like that was saved, Vic Magnotta got the credit. So that was great. It's a great way to start my relationship with Vic.
Yeah.
Vic was a student at NYU Film School with Martin Scorsese, and actually was the stunt coordinator on all of Marty's pictures right up until right through Raging Bull.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vic, unfortunately, was killed in a stunt on another movie, a Michael Keaton movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was interesting when I ended up working with Marty on The Irishman.
Yeah.
Just to recall Vic together as sort of central in our lives was one of those interesting little bonding factors that take place between performers, and so that was
yeah. Must have been
interesting that I started because of Vic invited me into the business.
Mm-hmm. It must have been exhausting with all that running.
I had so much excitement and enthusiasm. It wasn't that exhausting, but there was a lot of running.
Yeah.
The other thing about that particular shot is that Garrett Brown was a cameraman who invented the Steadicam.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, the Steadicam is now used in almost every single motion picture in one capacity or another. And for Garrett to actually be operating the camera, to work with me on all of those shots was an unbelievable privilege. And I think part of why we were able to shoot 7 days of storyboard in 5 days, 4.5 to 5 days, was because of how Garrett and I just communicated. I gave him what he wanted, and we did almost all of that stuff on one take. So that was just the most wonderful lesson and opportunity to work with somebody like Garrett and somebody like Vic, and be directed by Frank Oz and Jim Henson. Be there on set the whole time. It was wonderful.
Yeah, Juliana Donald, who played Jenny, she's a frequent guest on here and a good friend of mine.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and she told me that when her and Kermit are jogging in Central Park, there was some problem with the camera, and some kid got into frame and started talking to Kermit.
I wasn't there for that, but I'm not surprised. You always have these strays
Yeah.
show up if they're not completely locked out,
Yeah. But Frank Oz, he was good as a director.
He was wonderful. He was just completely and totally wonderful. He's warm and considerate. Always asking, is that all right? Is that something that you might be able to try? I said, yeah, absolutely. Because all of these, all of the storyboards, all of the planned shooting plans are always available to be improvised upon. And it has everything to do with lighting and enthusiasm, time of day, and the performer. The performer seems like he can give the director a little bit more than what is actually written or called for in the narrative. It's a big treat for everybody. So Frank was like that. He said, "Can you run up that hill? Go back and forth over the stream and try and stay on the rocks?" I said, "Sure." So that was something that wasn't scripted, and we did it, and then they used it. So there's always this wonderful sense of being able to contribute spontaneously, see how that awakens the enthusiasm of the directors and the DP, director of photography.
Yeah, did they have a stunt woman chase you in the wide shots?
I don't believe so. No, they didn't.
Wow.
Oh, well, actually, wait a minute. There was definitely a stunt girl who was dressed as Miss Piggy on roller skates.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was definitely, she was a young girl skater.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big cast story. Found out, here's a little girl who could skate, so that was good because she was small enough to fit into Miss Piggy's wardrobe.
I like how you tell the cop that she stole your purse.
Yeah, also an improvised line.
Really? Well,
they didn't know what would happen once she flies off the cliff and tackles me.
The cop says, "Nice try, buddy." Oh, that's great. And I also remember you played a car thief in Who's That Girl?
That's right. I was one of two car thieves.
Mm-hmm.
And had to deal with a cougar, a live cougar.
Yeah, was that scary?
Well, it was interesting. The handler told us, don't make any big movements with your arms. And this cat is a meat eater and you're meat. So that's a nice way to introduce us. Okay, so get in the car and let's roll. All right, then.
Yeah, but then he ate all those hot dog buns when it crashed.
That's right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Work with big animals. I got a chance to work with a grizzly bear, actually, on a film that I did with Alec Baldwin called The Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not dissimilar to working with a cougar. They let you know what the limitations are in your movements and how close you can get and all that. But working with the bear in the Canadian Rockies was just a wonderful opportunity and also another privilege. We were in the Rockies for about 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we started in summer, all of fall, and we had a good taste of winter by the time we finished shooting on the 21st of December.
Nice.
I did all the bear stuff. Alec did close-ups with what's called an animatronic bear, but the wide stuff of running running from the bear.
Mm-hmm.
That was me and another stunt performer from Canada who was Anthony Hopkins' stunt double.
Huh.
Another wonderful opportunity. Work so closely with those guys.
Mm-hmm. And then comes Blood In, Blood Out, a great movie about gangs. How was that experience?
It was wonderful. Working with Taylor Hackford was a dream. And he's glad that he found somebody like me who could have a little bit of a Spanish sensibility into the character. And I got that job as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
You love any of my stunt enthusiasms on that one. And that was just, I don't know what you can call them, opportunities except being blessed in a way. Getting there and to do work and let your creative aspect come alive, and then they pay you.
Yeah.
That was one of the chief thrills of working in that business. So many people want to get into it. When you find yourself actually being selected, you have to thank your lucky stars.
Mm-hmm. I know when it came out, it caused up a little bit of controversy. Was it as bad as, like, say, when The Warriors came out in '79?
Yeah, this was the LA version.
Yeah.
And and Taylor, is a real stickler for authenticity. You just love contributing to these kinds of creative processes. They're so collaborative. Filmmaking is only collaborative. So when you have your job and you get to do it, and they indicate that you've done it satisfactorily, well, there's nothing better than that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everybody has to wait a year to see what they actually did with what you provided. And so that's always another thrill when the time comes. It's almost always very satisfying because they eliminate the parts that weren't so good.
Yeah. It's a pretty long movie. Were you there the whole shoot?
No. I was only there for about a week and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they condense all of your scenes into the shooting schedule so that they don't have to hold you. Hold is a term that they use, which basically means that they have to pay you if you're on hold. So if they can figure out a way to shoot all of your scenes inside a week and a half, even though they may be spread out through the narrative as that particular character was, then lucky for them, and not so lucky for you. You just get shot in and shot out. So
Mm-hmm.
you just, like everybody else, have to wait a year to see what they did with what you provided.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to mention movies you did stunts for. Tell me anything you remember. Rappin.
Yeah. Silly effort. But, to be honest, I can't even remember what the action was in that particular movie. Sort of gangy type of routine.
Yeah, there's like a fight scene in there, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. I've been quoting it since I was 6.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins.
Well, it's another incredible opportunity to double Remo on the Statue of Liberty. I'm sorry. Doesn't really get better than that, So that was just a wonderful opportunity. It was a reshoot of a couple of scenes that they did there. So I wasn't the only one who doubled him on that movie, but only on the reshoot portion. But we were up on the statue, and that was an unbelievable thrill and honor.
Yeah, you got the double for Fred Ward, man. I mean, he's a great actor.
Yeah, that was a real special treat. When you get to do a job like that, and the location location also is something that you never ever would experience unless you were in that particular job at that particular moment.
Mm-hmm.
Those fall under that blessed category we spoke about earlier. You have to shake your head sometimes. Where does good fortune come from? Because often it exceeded my greatest wishes. So, I mean, as I think I indicated to you earlier,
mm-hmm.
so it was with working with Marty Scorsese and De Niro and Al Pacino and Joe Pesci on The Irishman. What in the world was I doing there?
Yeah.
As the movie analyst on the film. So it's hard to explain. There are forces at work that seem to correspond with everybody's heart's desire. And I've been extremely fortunate in this band of angels that seems to be following me around and continue to follow me. So I'm just not going to argue with that.
Yeah.
Keep your mouth shut and just go and do your job. It's quite humbling too, if you can follow what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where these things come from. Just meeting Alec in an acting class. I mean, I could have not been there the day that he showed up, and but because we were young and impressionable, and we had a natural athletic attraction to each other,
Yeah.
we became buddies. And then who knew that he was going to shoot the moon the way he did? Who knew that I was going to end up being a yoga instructor and therefore have this advantage of playing a whole bunch of different characters that otherwise I wouldn't have been able to play. So all of these things just happen per force of nature in a way. And if you're lucky enough to see a continuity in all of those events or aspects of your own training, then you're lucky. You know what to look out for in terms of what's going to follow, what's going to come next.
Plus, you had the advantage of being in New York and not in Hollywood, which I don't know if there's that much of a difference, though, but at least you had that going for you as well.
Well, certainly for me, I was part of a stunt group in New York. It was a much smaller to draw from, and there were several different stunt groups out in L.A. So I was lucky earlier on to be close to the center of the flame with Vic McNabb.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't be more right about that. You're lucky to be in New York.
Mm-hmm. You got to work with the Weinsteins on Playing for Keeps.
It was their very first movie, by the way.
Yeah.
And also, it's silly, but I did get to work on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a bunch of scenes there. One in particular was a fight in a soda shop with a soda fountain. If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And Harvey and Bob's first film. There we go.
Yeah. Were they easy to get along with back then?
It was very chaotic, and they were always freaking out about the budget. I remember that. First time out, I guess you're watching your pennies pretty strongly.
Mm-hmm.
So bordering on amateurish, I would say, but nonetheless, everybody just has to jump in and make the best of it. That's what they did.
Mm-hmm. Morgan Stewart's coming home.
Coming home, John Cryer, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Most of those were 1 or 2 day events, and so long ago, it's hard for me to recall. anything worth commenting on, to be honest. But, yeah, I was there.
Did you double Michael J. Fox in The Secret of My Success?
I did not. I was a character who was robbing a store while he was on a telephone call with his mother.
Oh, yeah.
Back in somewhere in the Midwest.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to come out of the store, and the funny part of that scene was that he's telling his mom that everything was great. No, I love being here. It's exciting. In the meantime, sirens and cops and running out of a store with guns in our hands, robbing the store where he was parked with his inside the phone booth.
Mm-hmm. I remember. Yeah, that's his first glimpse of New York of what it really is.
Right.
That was great. Yeah. Here's a movie I'm sure you probably thought I never saw. My Demon Lover.
Yeah. quite an interesting opportunity to jump off of a fire escape at 3 stories and into a bunch of boxes with mats on it for the safe landing, quote unquote safe landing. But in the film, I land on top of a car. The car takes off, and that was actually quite a terrifying thing to do. You're cabled through the roof to the chassis of the car, while a stunt driver who you don't know is driving around, and being filmed at 40, 50 miles an hour, going up Avenue of the Americas in Manhattan in the middle of the night. And you're spread eagle holding on. Serious situation to find yourself in. It's just good with the job,
Yeah. Have you ever been seriously injured doing stunts?
Never been injured at all, in fact.
Huh.
Strangely enough, it's not about daredevil work. Stunt work is about doing something athletic in a very precise area that the cameras see. So basically, your job is to feed whatever's required into the lens. And that's something that a lot of people don't quite understand. They think that you're just busy being a daredevil. It's not that at all. It's very, very, very well choreographed. And always with safety in mind first and foremost.
Yeah.
So happy to say that I was able to avoid any injuries in all of my years of working on movies.
That's good. A lot of people can't say that, Especially,
a lot of people can't say that. Yeah.
especially the ones I've talked to. They've got stories that are like Evel Knievel stories, like you mentioned. It's not Daredevil, but I think Hollywood has made it out to be,
Yeah, I think that's one of the unspoken attractions of stunt work. But anybody who's actually done stunt work knows that it's not daredevil work. It's very serious athletic work, and usually the filming is confined to whatever the lens requires. Not usually, always. You only do it for the lens. You don't do it to demonstrate how cool you are, or brave, or even skilled. It's just about providing whatever the narrative requires into the lens. So if you have to jump from one rooftop to the next, which I had to do a couple of times, you do it to the best of your ability, and don't let the camera see your face.
You worked with the Coen brothers on Miller's Crossing.
Great job. An unbelievable job. Yeah, another one of those incredible privileges. I was doubling Gabriel Byrne, who was the star of the movie, and some of my scenes were opposite Albert Finney. It's an unbelievable privilege to ever work with an English actor like Albert. Had a couple of scenes with John Turturro
It's the
in a
biggest
one-on-one situation. It's unbelievable.
biggest honor, you know.
It's such an honor. Such an honor.
Yeah. So how and when did you get into being a yoga instructor?
Well, early on, I did it as a child. I was always enthusiastic about yoga as a child. And I didn't begin any formal training really until we were doing a film in Los Angeles called The Shadow, where Alec and I both played The Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And I was staying down in Marina Del Rey. And Marina Del Rey is just below Venice Beach. So there's a boardwalk, there's a lot of rollerblading. I was a rollerblader. So long story short, I met a yoga instructor there. And I began taking some private lessons in exchange for, I was able to invite her and her boyfriend up to the set where we were shooting the movie. And in exchange, she gave me little weekly yoga classes, little private yoga classes. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so as soon as I got back to New York, I signed up. And I went and started taking yoga with great enthusiasm. And after a couple of years, the teacher said, you should teach this. And so she undertook to train me. I ended up being a registered yoga instructor under the auspices of a woman named Tao Portion Lynch, who passed away just this past year at 103, still teaching right up until she passed away.
Wow.
There come those forces at work again, steering me absolutely the right direction that I needed to continue my sense of what it really means to evolve. And the benefit was I was able to bring that directly to my work. So being flexible is really everything when it comes to stunt work. Not so much about being a weightlifter or strong, but to have real physical power, it requires flexibility. And that's what yoga provided for me after years and years of teaching.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned, of course, working on The Irishman, and you helped Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci get into shape for it. You said it's the biggest highlight of your entire career. So tell me about it.
And just to clarify, my job was exclusively to get them to move like youngins. And in order to do that, Bob undertook, daily training in the morning. This cushion that I have developed, called the body tuning cushion, and the whole idea is to just introduce the user to a capacity that every human has to experience their true physical stature, which is to say, without any of the muscular habits that we have encountered or developed by resisting gravity. So to get Bob onto a cushion to open his chest and lengthen his abdomen and have him actually stand taller and with ease was quite a wonderful contribution to his character's movement abilities. And so Al saw that and he took to participate in it, and Joe also to some degree, but mostly with Bob. And Bob had to appear 50 years younger than he actually is in that movie, and in different gradations of younger, some in his 30s and 40s and 50s as well. Man, in his mid-70s now. So the fact that we were able to pull that off, and similarly, you just have to fool the camera. So if it's going upstairs or downstairs, and there's more of a pitter-patter than we normally do it, this is what was required of me to go ahead and make sure
Yeah, how much time did you have with them?
Well, I was on from start to finish, so I worked with Bob every morning for half an hour in his trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to have up just before he got into his costume. So my job was to also know what was required of him per day, and everything through the dialogue to all of his movements, so I could make sure we could coordinate that, so that it was easy for him. And then I was on set for every shot. You know, you're on set for 14 hours. It's often quite a challenge for an actor to remember that I might have suggested to him 12 hours earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that to remind him, okay, now you're going to climb up that truck. You have to jump down off that truck in a way that demonstrates that you're 34, not 76. So we were able to help him out with all manner of enthusiasm and welcome, by the way. And he was so willing to be coached throughout the entire show. And Marty was just stoked with the kind of an appreciation that anybody like me could only hope for with her in one's lifetime, even once.
Yeah, was that your first time meeting Scorsese?
Yeah. That was the first time I worked in. I did work with Bob before, though. I worked with Bob on a film called Awakening,
Oh yeah.
where I worked on that entire picture. Penny Marshall was a good friend and client of mine. You know, I performed body work and yoga with her for a long time, 20 years. So I got to work on every one of her pictures. She'd bring me on, put me on a stunt contract, and I'd be able to stretch people out, help them variously throughout the show.
Yeah, Penny's daughter Tracy was one of my earliest interviews.
Complete sweetheart.
Mm-hmm. Love her. She's awesome.
Yeah.
So are there any plans after quarantine or future projects you have?
Well, you know, Marty's doing this next picture called Killers, The Flower Moon. And it has now been pushed maybe into oblivion, but they were supposed to be doing it already. We were supposed to be already involved in that. So that's one thing that I look forward to being a candidate for. Once again, you know, none of these jobs are secure until you have a plane ticket. So now that it's been pushed, you know, one doesn't really know what's going to happen. But that's the only plan that I have somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
Make myself available for that one, should they come a-calling.
Well, I hope it all works out for you, Gary.
That's with De Niro and Leonardo.
Oh, okay.
So by virtue of the fact that Bob's going to be on it again, you know, hopefully he would find it useful for me to be there again. So that's the only way you can keep your fingers crossed based on that.
Yeah, that would be great if you two had a regular working relationship together.
Yeah. And I know Marty would welcome enthusiasm, so you just have to hope that the band of angels are still keeping an eye out for you.
Mm-hmm. You're very blessed, Gary, and I thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, you're so welcome. Really, really nice of you to invite me.
Absolutely, and stay safe, and have yourself a great day.
All right, good, Tommy. How do I ever find out if you what you do with this?
Oh, I can send it to you.
Oh, excellent. All right, man. Well, thanks again, and take care of yourself.
My pleasure. You too, sir.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Gary Tacon. Ain't he a cool dude? Man, just a very positive guy, very blessed, great stories. I like him a lot. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.